as this show demonstrates, there's, what, 50, 100 different tablets being shown, you know, out here on the floor. It's 6 months after the tablets were first introduced at, you know, in a consumer-friendly way by Apple and others. The ideal using these tools is actually a much more customized program. It's much less lockstep. Our MBA program, for example, it's a 2-year program, but based on the experience the student comes in, it could go anywhere from 12 months to the full 24 months, what they come in with and what they want to get out of the program. So I don't think you have to make that trade-off at all.
I would observe that I think one place where it's good to standardize is on back-end processes. If you have very, very standardized, simple, easily accessible back-end support processes, that's very important. And then I would agree with everything that John said about the academics and the nature of the academic classroom itself. But I do think that standardizing on processes is critical.
One of the observations that I see is the ability to be able, if we talk about standardization, to leverage, again, the investment that you're making in the infrastructure for administrative purposes and then move those dollars into the academic world. So let me give you an example. There are ways now that each university is actually able to utilize new technologies in managing the energy of any one of the buildings. That's an enormous cost savings for an institution. Another is the ability to be able to have physical video surveillance across the institution in parking lots, et cetera, and also manage that across the infrastructure. Another huge savings. So when you start combining those administrative costs and take those savings, you're able to actually redirect those dollars into the academic or the teaching, learning, and research side of the equation. So I think when we talk about scalability and we talk about really looking at new business models, that has enormous impact for institutions that will take the time to look at it.
Great, thank you. One last brief question and we'll wrap up the session.
My name is Christopher Nickerson. I'm from Nevada State College. I just wanted to go back to the standardization question and also the idea of a value of an online education. And I guess it's kind of how is it, or how are businesses going to value online educations which are non-traditional or new in comparison to, let's say, a 300-year-old brick and mortar institution when there are no standardizations that are being met or being utilized across the board to kind of measure each of these programs. And as a hiring practice for you as a business, how do you evaluate those students that have come from these programs and put them on, let's say, an equal tier with someone who has come from a brick and mortar institution?
Mm-hmm. I can tell you that at Cisco, and as you know, we hire a fair number of people, it's been really interesting to see how we are actually looking at the different ways in which people are securing an education at this point in time. And I will also say that it doesn't seemingly mean as much in terms of where the degree is from as to what it is that you have learned. And so the way in which we're looking at people now, and what I've heard our senior leadership say consistently to institutions, is what is still lacking is the ability to be able to determine that someone understands what it means to collaborate. We do a lot of coordinating and we do a lot of communicating. We all do not do a very good job collaborating. And so we always put this out to most universities to actually help us see what you're doing to actually produce students who we want to hire who understand what it means to collaborate. And I think some of the team-based projects are the way in which you're actually able to show that they understand what it means to really collaborate.
I'm glad we collaborated.
Yeah.
Well, we exhibited right there the power of the human touch.
Here we go.
Well, thank you. I would just, just to wrap up, I mean, I was just jotting down several of the themes that I asked in the beginning, what is technology allowing us to do, which is allowing us to break the mold? And I heard a lot of themes. I just jotted them down as I went through. So making partnerships, collaborating with each other, the network effects, the scale economics, personalization, contextualization. That's what technology is enabling. And once you can do those things better, then you can redesign the underlying business models. I think the folks up here are demonstrating that, and hopefully it's the sign of the things to come. So please join me in thanking the entire panel.